I was 16 years old when I learned how much God really loved me. I was at AFY, Adventure for Youth. It's a summer camp very similar to EFY, but in an outdoors or camping kind of a setting. It was the last day of camp, and the last activity we had to do was a faith walk. I had been to girls' camp before, so I knew that this activity was going to be a blindfold activity where they let us down the iron rod while our leaders tried to tempt us. However, I didn't realize then just how much this activity was going to impact the rest of my life. Our leaders did blindfold us, and they led us down a path I thought would never end. Suddenly we stopped. Someone whispered in my ear, "Follow the distinct noise." At first, all I heard was silence. Then I heard a loud banging noise coming from nearby. I thought, yes, I finally have direction. I know what to follow. As I walked closer to this noise, I tried to reach it, but I never quite could. Eventually, I realized I was going in circles. I thought back to that voice in my ear. It said, "Follow the distinct noise." The noise I was following was prominent, loud, and chaotic. I realized this was not the noise I was supposed to be following. I moved away from the banging noise and began to listen for an intent, distinct noise. Suddenly, the sound of a triangle ding reached my ears. This was the noise I was supposed to be following. As I moved closer to the sound, it became louder. I knew I was reaching my destination. When I thought I could get no closer to the triangle, I heard a whisper in my ear. It said, "Congratulations, Lucy. You made it home." They removed my blindfold to reveal a beautiful meadow. I was directed to sit down and wait for the others to find their way home as well. After several minutes, almost everyone had made it to the meadow. However, I noticed the absence of a boy in my camp company. I'll call him Dallin for the sake of my story. My counselor approached me and asked me to come help. He said, "Dallin does not want to come home. Can you be his angel?" How could I not agree? I approached Dallin, who still had a blindfold on. I asked him to come with me. However, he refused. He kept saying, "I don't want to go." In that moment, I realized how important my role was. I had to bring him home. I was his angel. I said a prayer in my heart asking Heavenly Father to help me say the right thing. What I received was not words or actions I should take, but it was an overwhelming sense of love. In that moment, I felt just how much God loved Dallin and how much he wanted Dallin to return home. However, with all of my efforts, I could not convince Dallin to come home with me. My camp counselor approached Dallin and said, "Dallin, I'm sorry you failed. You cannot come home." Those words struck me hard. I felt so much grief because Dallin could not become home. I decided then that I never wanted to hear the words, "Lucy, I'm sorry, you cannot come home." That moment changed my life forever because I felt the love God has for me and the sorrow he had when Dallin could not come home. I do not want to cause that same sorrow that God felt for Dallin. So I will do everything in my power to return home and bring others with me, because when the day comes, I want to hear the words, "Congratulations, Lucy. You made it home."